subject of contextualization really is about the heart of God, about the character of God, about God's love for all peoples and His appreciation of the beauty of the culture of all peoples. And He loves it so much, He shows us in Revelation 7:9 that even His bride is made up of all peoples, all cultures, all tribes, all tongues. And that's because He loves them so much, and He loves their cultural expression. And He uses cultures to express Himself and to incarnate Himself into those cultures, just as Jesus did into humanity. How would Jesus look in the culture that God's put on your heart? How would He express Himself? How might God have you express Him and His character in that culture that He's put on your heart?
If an Indian man is thirsty and you give him water to drink in a foreign bowl, then he is going to reject it. But if you give him water to drink in an Indian bowl, that is his own Indian bowl, then he will gladly accept it. And that is when I started praying and asking the Lord, so Lord, give us an Indian bowl. How do we make an Indian bowl? And that is when the thought came to me that the satsang, the whole concept of satsang, that is what the Indian bowl is. Because if you ask some person if he would like to go with you to church on Sunday, he will refuse. But if you say, would you like to come to a satsang on a Sunday afternoon? And he will accept, yes, I would like to come. And when he comes to the satsang, what does he see? The first thing he sees, men and women, they are sitting on the floor, and men are separate from women. And then he looks around, he sees all the instruments, they are Indian. And not only that, but when he actually hears the very songs that are being sung, he's, oh, this is our songs. Because they are the devotional songs to which his ear is attuned to. It doesn't matter to him that these songs are praising Sadhguru Ishu. He is just receiving, because what he is seeing the Indian bowl.
The Wolof need to have Christ presented in the Wolof way, not in a Western way. When missionaries come and live among the Wolof, they must try to fit in with our customs and lifestyle and see what is fitting and what pleases God. Then when they bring God's message, the Wolof will be able to listen and accept it.
Saya senang dengan pekerjaan mereka dalam membuat film-film yang kontekstual. Dan pasti film seperti ini akan sangat berguna untuk saya untuk mempelajari dan belajar di dalam membentuk bentuk-bentuk kehidupan orang percaya yang dihormati oleh Allah.
We've seen many examples of non-believers looking at these contextual gathering films that we have created for different cultures. And when they've seen them, they've been surprised. And we've heard many times over that their response has been, if this is what it means to be a Christian, I'm interested. Amazing response. And we believe it's because we honor their culture. We show that they can express themselves naturally and be believers in Jesus. And recently we saw an example of this with a missionary working in Sumatra, the least evangelized island in the world, amongst the Comoring people. As they were discipling a new believer, they were sharing with him how to start a home fellowship in that culture. And they were utilizing the film that we had done for that particular culture and language. And this man who had come to Christ, he had a real difficulty reaching the rest of his family. His wife and other members of the family were very resistant to the gospel. They were from a Muslim background. But as this man took this film home to take a look at it and to study it for his own learning and preparing to start his own fellowship, his wife was looking from the other room kind of over his shoulder watching the film. And at the end of the film, she went to him and she said, if this is what being a Christian is all about, I could worship Jesus like this. I could be a follower of Jesus like this. And later she became a Christian, and they led their children to the Lord, and their family has now been leading their extended family to the Lord as well.
I see the peoples of the earth, because they are really at their root families made in the image of God, who have flourished out through their languages and through their descent lines into the people groups of the world that have given personality so many of the nations. These are containers of God's redemptive gifts and God's beauty.